This is a Clouds weather alert.
Back here in the Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud. Just getting some new information in here in the last few seconds. We just now got a tornado warning for parts of Lowndes and Thomas, folks. Right when we were coming on the air there, though, folks, that beep came across. So the red box will show up here in just a second. So we were jumping on for the thunderstorm warning potential, but now we have a possible developing tornado near Thomasville. Let's see exactly where they're putting this box here. Okay, right around Thomasville. So if you're in Thomasville, you need to take those tornado precautions immediately. We have a developing tornado now here toward Thomasville. Again, that red box just popping up here. And it is just a second tornado warning as well, it looks like. Let me double check that. That could just be a duplicate here in the chat session. Looks like a strong mid-level meso now, just southwest of Thomasville. It's struggling to get to the lower levels, but the steady state of it being quite strong is something where they're seeing that mid-level circulation. So they issued a tornado warning for Thomas. They actually issued it twice here because they didn't mean to issue it for Lowndes. So a little bit of a mistake here with that. So that's why we had two boxes come out there in the last few seconds, folks. Again, we just had a tornado warning issued just now here for Thomasville. So if you're around Thomasville, you need to get in toward that tornado safe spot immediately there in Thomas County. The time to get in that interior room is right now here in Thomasville. This situation's escalated in the last couple of seconds. That really is getting tight here, folks. So this tornado moving toward Thomasville here. The reds and greens really coming together now in the Thomas County area. Let's go ahead and look in here. We're seeing inflow. Maybe not debris yet, but we don't want to wait to take those tornado precautions for debris to be visible here within the radar echoes. So again, we have a tornado warning now. It was a thunderstorm warning right when we were coming on. It's now been upgraded to a tornado warning here for Thomasville. So we need you to take shelter there in Thomasville. Right now, a tornado may be headed in. This is a developing tornado, it looks like, based on our velocity signatures. So again, there's your circulation. Let me zoom out a little bit so you see Thomasville here, right the center of Thomasville, and there's your circulation right in here. This scan just a couple minutes behind, so obviously it's a little bit further up now, closer toward town. So we want you in toward that tornado safe spot there around Thomasville. Again, we have a tornado warning now for Thomasville, just being issued right when we were coming on the air. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch to keep you safe here. This tornado developing really strong now here. Just go ahead and take your tornado precautions and you'll be all right, though. But as you're getting here right around, let's zoom in on street level mapping a little bit, right around Pine Circle. This is a developing circulation here. Winds 50 one way, 35 the other, so that could be winds around 90 down toward the surface here, right on that hook. Right on that hook. Nothing down yet according to debris detection, but we're watching it very carefully. Obviously, you have to be co-located there. But we want you in shelter right now in Thomasville. We have a tornado warning in play for Thomasville right now in Thomas County. So seek shelter in that 30 building. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet. Again, we have a developing tornado, potentially, according to the radar, moving in toward Thomasville here over the next few minutes. So a tornado warning in play, continuing there for the developing tornado around Thomasville, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. This scan here is going to be a couple minutes behind, so the tornado could be closer maybe toward Fletcher Street now, normal lane. So this is coming up right into Thomasville here in South Georgia. Again, a developing tornado. You need to take those tornado precautions immediately here, folks. We have a tornado warning here in play. Let's go over to radar scope, give you another angle on this. This feels like it could drop a tornado at any time right there around Thomasville. This is a concerning looking storm. You need to take it seriously here, folks. Again, we have a tornado warning for Thomasville, not confirmed yet, but I feel like based on the velocity scans we're seeing, it could drop a tornado as it comes in toward the downtown area even. So we need you in shelter here around Thomasville. This right here is not necessarily showing that yet in the correlation coefficient off the Tallahassee radar, but again, this storm is really taking on that circulation here over the last couple of minutes, and we need you in Thomasville to take your tornado precautions. So again, you can see here we have wind 67, 70 one way. The gate to gate not as well defined on here, but that still could be wind closer to 70, 80 miles an hour possibly in that general range, moving in, even if there's not a tornado down. At least that's what we're seeing, just a loft here within the velocity scans. So again, a tornado warning now for Thomasville. Coming back here on camera with you. Again, there's your hook. You can see that developing there. Back to radar scope we go again. We're watching all the different scans here very carefully, obviously. We're continuing to give you guys the very latest information. You see all that lightning. It's already a nasty storm with all that cloud-to-ground axing going on here around Thomasville. Again, important to get an interior room away from windows right now there in Thomas County. Gonna go ahead and come back onto camera now and point some things out for you. Again, we have a tornado warning for Thomasville now in Thomas County. Again, this is here in South Georgia. That is very tight. We're seeing here the winds. That's an update, by the way, in Central Georgia. We've had some confirmed tornadoes there, but nothing confirmed, or nothing we can confirm quite yet. But possible tornado will be right near Orange Street now, according to the radar. Could be displaced by just a little bit. But right near Pear Street as well, we have a potentially developing tornado here in Thomas County. So you can see the spin here, the winds going toward the radar, and we have the winds going away from the radar here, folks. Again, this is what you get when you have a tornado situation. We're on that hook. Maybe we'll get lucky and it doesn't produce here, obviously. It doesn't produce that tornado, but we need you in shelter here. Again, we have a tornado warning here in play for Thomasville now. So this is moving right into town. Again, this scan's going to be a couple minutes behind, so the tornado's probably right near. If there is one on the ground, hadn't been completely confirmed yet here. Blackshear Street, that's where it could be, though, if it is touching down. This is a very strong signature, though, obviously, as we continue to watch things carefully here. You see that notch on this. You see the notch. We're going to continue to track it. You see the inflow here, but no debris co-located yet. Thankfully, hopefully, it can not produce a tornado here. But we definitely really do not want that in Thomasville. Obviously, the high population density there. So people, hopefully, you're taking shelter, though, in this area. You see 56 one way, 29 the other. So that's about 85 gate to gate on this mode of the Doppler radar that we're using right now. Some different speeds you'll see from time to time. But this radar is pretty low down here, giving us a pretty good sample and potentially the wind down toward the surface here, toward Thomasville. And that scan just gives us a news update here. Let's see what we're getting. That looks still more like inflow there than any type of debris, thankfully. But we gotta hope this just stays above the surface here and doesn't touch down. That looks more like inflow here into the storm. Obviously, you gotta take shelter because the next scan could show debris, obviously. But you see the inflow here into toward the storm here. In Thomas County. So again, a tornado warning in play. There's technically a couple boxes, but there's just really one tornado warning that we're dealing with right now. Again, you have the hook here. You have the winds. That's what we're really tracking when they come together. If there is a tornado, it'll be right around as we get down really tight now on some of these different roads. We're trying to give you guys an idea where we're at. Blackshear Street maybe is where this tornado could be right now in the Thomasville area. So again, hopefully it's not touching down. We have this shear marker showing up, that little wheel there. Hopefully it's not touching down, but we just got to be careful. This ramped up here pretty quickly. We're watching some rotation, but it was a little more elongated, but then it really got tight with the pixels next to each other, meaning a lot of times you'll see more of an imminent tornado threat emerging out of that. Surprisingly, based on what I've seen, we haven't seen that touch down yet. Doesn't mean it hadn't touched down briefly here, but so far we haven't seen that debris lofted from this. So we'll continue to watch it. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Thomasville, moving northeast at 30 is the latest update from the Weather Service. So again, we have to watch this very carefully. A tornado warning to 9:30 here for parts of Thomas County and Georgia. So again, you see Barwick there. Some of these communities downstream of this we'll be watching later. But right now it's all about Thomasville and Thomas County. Again, you see our region here, Old Monticello Road. If there is a spin, hopefully it stays above the ground here. There's definitely spin above the surface, but whether it's reaching the surface, right now we're not seeing the debris lofted, and that's definitely a good sign. We're seeing the inflow here into this on this hook, but we're not actually seeing the tornadic debris being picked up right now. This is the little notch here. We're getting inflow into the storm, and that shows up differently on the hydrometeor classification as well. But we're not actually seeing a tornado down. It does not look like here, but that does not mean it couldn't be down in the next scan. So you got to remain in that tornado safe spot there in Thomas County around Thomasville. Again, let's go ahead and go back to our other software. We're going to go between scans. We're still getting a tornado vortex signature on this. We're seeing a pretty nasty storm signature right now around Thomasville in Thomas County there. You can see this is maybe looking a little more like winds going in one direction here with 74 miles an hour and 15 the other way. But that still could be causing some power outages here in this vicinity. Again, you see this blue here. This is not tornadic debris out here. This is the inflow into the storm. So that's definitely some good news here in that regard. Now we're watching if there is a lowering here, a real lowering in those values, like what we saw earlier in Brooks County. If it was right in here, we'd really be concerned because I mean a tornado is on the ground, but as of now, we're not really seeing that co-located there, and that's definitely some good news. But we have to continue to monitor the progress of this. We have to continue to track it because it could ramp up. Maybe it ramps up right outside of town. I've seen that happen before. You just never know. Just never know what the weather will throw at you. So that latest scan there looks a little less organized maybe, but around Thomasville, you still need to be in that tornado safe spot. Still need to be in that tornado safe spot there as we look at our different tools that we have at our disposal. Again, on all the different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to keep you safe. This evening, we're continuing to watch this. You see the yellow box here. That is actually now, it looks like it just came down. Severe thunderstorm warning that we've been tracking for a while, actually. Getting me a little confused there because we're getting closer toward that boundary. So let's take those off, actually, because that's a little bit confusing right now. As we're looking toward the boundary, but they might eventually want to ramp down the tone of this, but right now not going to do that, obviously, with this right over Thomasville. So again, you see here, that's more inflow still calling us a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado with that hook. Well to find when these storms are discrete like this, they're able to grab their own energy really with whatever's around. And they're saying there's still no indication of a tornado acting on the ground, but they're telling us here at the Weather Service that one could form at any moment given the strong circulation associated with the storm. So, again, we have a tornado warning here in play. Again, a tornado warning here in play. We have thunderstorm warnings as well, but the tornado warning is a concern at the present time. Again, a tornado warning around Thomasville. We'll pop up the shear tracker, but we'll see how this is kind of ramped up over just the last little bit. I know we're continuing to monitor the progress of this here. Really saw this ramp on up here as it got in. Now, this is going to make it look like it was a little bit stronger further west, but the reason the warning wasn't issued further west is we didn't have the gate-to-gate together as strong. It was still showing pretty good rotation, but then we got the gate-to-gate really getting strong right in there as it was approaching town. And obviously, when you go to a more populated area, you want to be on the side of caution when you see these warnings, and that's what they're doing there at the Weather Service office in Tallahassee now. This discrete area we're watching, we have the other warning to the north because we had another area that was rotating up there as well. But this is the one on the southern side. It's able to be a little more dominant, grabbing that warm, moist air and taking that in. You saw the inflow there with the correlation coefficient. It's able to kind of grab that own energy here and circulate here. Luckily, right now, it hadn't circulated down to the ground, we don't think, because we're at a pretty low level on the radar. We'll be able to see if a touchdown of a tornado did occur, I would think, but there could still be some wind damage occurring in here around Thomasville. So that's something you guys have to bear in mind here in Thomas County. So again, we're watching this. Looks like the worst will be on the east side. This is still looking strong here. Still looking strong. This actually looks a little bit stronger now on the latest scan as we get closer here, not too far away from, as I try to get some of the roads so up. We're getting a little bit further away from the center of Thomasville, I think, but toward Eastgate Drive is what we're seeing at circulation now. So I just kind of trying to point out some of the different roads here. The circulation further off, but we still have some rain around Thomasville in the downtown area, but that's starting to move away just a little bit here in the next couple of moments. Really, the scan's a couple minutes behind. That's how our radar is when it scans around. So obviously, we're watching more off toward the east here as we see this action with the inflow, with the notch, with the hook, with the rotation here. So you see the reds, you see the greens and blues here. We're going to go ahead and go back down to street level map, and we'll go ahead and go on over here. You see Summer Hill Road. That could be in the path here in the next couple minutes. Gatlin Creek Road over toward the Saddlebrook Plantation area. Going to be watching this here in that general vicinity. See if we have anything in terms of debris still. I do not think so. Still inflow, luckily, at the present time. Obviously, if we start to get a blue area developing further off, further over here, then that would be indicative of a tornado probably, because it'd be co-located with that spin. So again, we're at 8:55 right now on the clock. A meteorologist, Casey Cloud, continuing his cover to the tornado warning scenario. See a couple boxes, but that's just an issue by the Weather Service. There's really only one tornado warning in play right now. They were in a hurry to get that out because they saw that circulation moving toward Thomasville, ramping on up. I know we were getting on the air as we were seeing things evolve there. We were concerned that something like this might happen, so wanted to get ready. And as soon as we were coming on the air, that tornado warning did come out right about then, right when we were opening with our intro there. So again, you can see this still looks like inflow here. I do believe now. Granted, that actually looks a little bit muddier now. So that could end up being something that's trying to get closer to the surface here, but that would be near, it looks like Fox Meadows Lane. If that's trying to touch down, it's inconclusive right now, but there is a little bit of something trying to show up there. The next scan or two would really show it if we had something down, probably, if it was still down on the ground, but we're seeing a little bit of something in terms of those lower velocity values. So again, we have to continue to track that as this kind of is moving away from downtown Thomasville, but we still have to watch it here. Let me go ahead and pop up our radar scope. You can see that hook, that well-defined structure, continuing to track. We've been here for a long time with coverage the last couple of days, and we're continuing to watch the situation, obviously. You have all that lightning around here. You see that well-defined structure moving in the general direction of Barwick here. This tornado warning still continues for another 33 minutes as we're looking toward Barwick there in parts of Thomas County. So we're starting to see that move away from Thomasville, but I want to make sure we don't have a debris signature on this here. That still looks like inflow, but we may be getting something here. It's not a 0% chance that there could be something right there. Let me go to our other correlation coefficient mode. And that doesn't really look like a lot right there. Right? Yeah, but we have to keep watching every scan here, because this is all right here. If you're wondering, let me circle it. This is all just inflow right here into where that hook. It keeps storm going, but it's not actually debris. It's how we have things with the structure, so the storm. So we have to keep that in mind. You see stuff there on that product, but it doesn't match up. That means it's not a tornadic event down to the surface, at least. Maybe a funnel cloud, very tight circulation there in a higher populated area really had us concerned there toward Thomasville, and we'll find out if something did touch down here in short order. I see a significant weather advisory just been issued for parts of Ben Hill, Berry, and Irwin and Tipp counties here until 9:30. We'll continue to watch the situation up in that direction as we still have these conditions. I mean, these surface-based cape values have been really, really impressive here today. And those definitely cause issues. And then I know the barometric pressure even down toward north central Florida, 1,010 millibars. So when you get the pressure coming in here, when you have that pressure, that lower pressure, and you have a situation where you have that energy, and then you have stuff to be able to get the storms to go. We don't have that down here right now in north central Florida as much, but these other areas, when you have all the parameters coming together, that's an issue, obviously. As we're now getting reports in the chat session, a storm spotter looks like he's saying that he has a work friend that lives just south of 122 and east of 19 in Thomasville toward the Pepperdine Court area. His advisor has been wind and rain, but no funnel visible so far. So that's good news. Continue to watch, continue to track the situation. I'll go past this 9 o'clock here, and then I'll wrap up this cut-in for a moment and take about a 2.5 or 5 minute break, depending on what we're seeing within the radar scans here, so I can catch my breath just for a second here as this moves out of Thomasville. But again, we've had and still do have a tornado warning for Thomasville in play for the next little bit. Let's go ahead and go back to radar. You can see that hook here You can see that hook on this storm, and you really see the gate around Summerhill Road. It's moving in the direction here of, it looks like Ozell Road, potentially, or maybe even a little bit closer down toward an eastern part of that, depending on the ultimate exact track of this. So we have to continue to watch this here in Thomas County, this tornado warning in play till 9:30. The worst of the storm has moved around Thomasville over the last few minutes. It's starting to move out of town now, but still on the outskirts, we're still seeing a potential tornadic situation on our hands. So that's the headline right now. The warning goes for another 30 minutes or so, 4 parts of Thomas County. We're watching the threat. I know there's 2 boxes, but really there's only the one smaller box where we have the tornado threat in play at the moment, and you could even, in theory, trim that back. They'll trim that back here in a moment once they have a chance at the Weather Service and trim Thomasville downtown area out of this. So that's something that we're going to continue to watch for. I know the storm here, hopefully it gets impeded eventually. They're continuing to warn, though. They're saying more near Boston now or near Thomasville, but hopefully this acts into the south. They'll be able to disrupt the inflow here eventually. Hopefully we can get some of this to kind of disrupt that, some of these storms or showers, because if it gets that inflow disrupted, that'll help things out. So, okay, so we're going to take a quick break in the coverage. Be back here soon. I know we're seeing there's Boston right there, if you're wondering, just north of Boston, just east of Thomasville, probably, I would call it at this point. We still have the gate pretty strong, so we got to make sure we're continuing to watch this. But of course, we're going to continue to check our latest scans. Be back in about 5 minutes or so, but a tornado could touch down at any time here in parts of Thomas County. Make sure you're taking those tornado precautions if you're east of Thomasville right now. This tornado moving east there about 25 miles an hour, a little northerly component as well.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in the Weather Center right now at 9:06 on this Wednesday. We're continuing to track a tornado warning for parts of Thomas County right now. I know we're still seeing some of that spin here, getting closer to Barwick now. So, and we just got a new tornado warning now for Brooks County. That goes to 9:45. You see the new red box popping up on the map now. That information just coming in. Possible tornado 11 miles east of Thomasville there. Moving east at about 35 miles an hour. So continuing to watch that. Let me go ahead and pop up our other view here right now. We're going to go ahead and pop up the other viewpoint of this storm on our other source. Again, things looking better toward Thomasville now. That's definitely the good news there in Thomas County. But we're continuing to track this very carefully as we get closer to Barwick. That's tight enough rotation for a new tornado warning to be issued here further off toward the east. So we want you in shelter here if you're in parts of Brooks County now, a different part of Brooks County than what we were tracking earlier. We were tracking southern Brooks earlier. Now we're tracking northern Brooks pretty much until 9:45 or area north equipment at least really with that greatest threat. But we're talking about a possible tornado near Boston or 11 miles east of Thomasville, moving east at 35 miles an hour. So gotta go ahead and take those tornado precautions right now here. You spin right here around Barwick. I'm gonna go ahead and switch back myself on the camera here. Again, you see the new red box here. We have a new tornado warning for parts of Brooks County. Again, you can see our circulation right near Five Forks Road. Haven't had any confirmation it's being down yet. You see the inflow there though. Definitely a well-defined storm nonetheless, but no confirmation of it actually touching the ground here. We have to continue to err on the side of caution. That's why this new tornado warning includes areas like Morven and Barney now until 9:45 there in Brooks County. So we're going to take another break in the coverage, back in about 2.5 minutes or more. But now a new tornado warning. There's 3 on the board, but there's technically 2 tornado warnings in play. One for parts of Thomas to 9:30 with the tornado getting near Barwick, and then the threat moving into Brooks County where the warning goes to 9:45.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Back here once again, I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud, continuing to cover it at 9/11 with the tornado warning being issued here in the last few moments. Report to Brooks County. That going until 9:45 here toward Brooks County. We're watching the tornado warning for Thomas County continue to 9:30. Possible tornado near Pavo there or around Barwick. Moving northeast at 30 miles an hour, east to northeast, somewhere in that general vicinity. So you want to get in that interior room away from windows here. We have this tornado threat. You see the greens and reds coming together with this discrete storm. That's what's more dangerous. When you have that tornado threat is when these storms are by themselves, able to kind of get that own energy there. Though eventually I think these storms to the south are going to disrupt it here. Hopefully. I mean, it could be kind of interesting to watch. Hopefully, though, eventually we'll get the action to kind of catch up here with it, or the storm will kind of catch up with it, and it'll kind of disrupt here that inflow to it. So, again, we're going to continue to watch, continue to track it. I know it's been a very busy last couple of days here. It's kind of like when you do this coverage, you stop until you drop, per se, toward this, because we have to make sure everybody's protected here and get everybody in the injury room. We don't want any fatalities, don't want any injuries here toward the covered area or anywhere, obviously, but our mission here at Cloud Weather is to keep everybody safe here with our live coverage and live tornado coverage under the tornado warning for any of our 62 counties. And right now we have that Thomas and Brooks, they're in play here right now until 9:30 with this threat here moving off toward the northeast at about 30 miles an hour. And in fact, let me go ahead and pull up. We haven't used this system that much today, but I'll go ahead and pull it up here in just a moment. I want to pull up our analyst computer because this will kind of help us out a little bit. Get a little bit of a gauge on the exact track on this. I mean, when you're on this long, I guess you got to pull up some other tools here to kind of say, guys, the situation. But again, when you're in a tornado warning, we're getting that interior room away from windows, obviously, here in this situation. So let me go ahead and get on over here, and we'll put a track on this action from what the Weather Service Polygon is telling us here the movement is, because they analyze all this stuff, of course, and they track it on off. So again, we kind of have to track how things are moving, how things are going here with this tornado scenario. Again, we'll kind of see what it shows here on this other source. This will be a couple minutes old, so let me go ahead and update this here. Make sure this is up to date. We're actually getting a TVS dropping out on here right now, so let me pop this on. This is the latest scan here, so still definitely could have a threat here. I know we've been covering it for a while, talking about it for a while, but we're getting a TVS here. I know no signs of damage. Another report in Thomas County near Five Forks, or on Five Forks Road, but again, I will keep you up to date on that, obviously. As you see, this is really looking pretty nasty here on this mode of our Doppler, as we kind of back this up here. Maybe actually tighten it up a little bit, possibly. Hard to say for sure, but we have to just watch it. But you see around Barwick, I'm moving toward Morven there if it holds together in the next hour, and then maybe in the vicinity of Hira. So something to kind of bear in mind as this kind of goes north of it off to maybe Lakeland eventually, but hopefully by then it's been disrupted and we don't have to worry about this actually touching the ground. So hopefully it'll weaken on off, it'll get that inflow disrupted here, and the circulation will weaken on down. So we're going to loop this around just a little bit here. It's been a long period. You see our radar kind of doing that right now. You can kind of see the situation that we're dealing with. I know I'm very busy here in the Weather Center, continuing to track it. You see this action to the south here. That's what I'm hoping we can kind of somehow, or maybe even this here, can kind of disrupt this inflow, because once it's harder for the circulation to get that spin, I mean, it would be a better thing for us, because then we wouldn't have as tight a rotation more than likely. But right now we're not really seeing that, so we have to just continue to cover this here with our live coverage to keep you safe. Around Barwick, this is where the rotation would be right about now. You can kind of see that actually looks a little bit weaker now in that scan, so that'd be good. The scan before was stronger. This scan's a little weaker right now. I just have the 2 tornado warnings. Pretty soon it'll probably just be the 1 tornado warning. I know we're getting some lightning in Jefferson County right now. Nothing severe with that, but I know earlier we stopped tracking stuff that wasn't severe ended up becoming severe. And then tornadic there with that threat. You see some hail maybe possibly there south of Camilla, southwest of Camilla. Could have a little bit of that trying to evolve. We'll just have to wait and see. more scattered action. You see there toward Terrell County. We've tracked some action there toward Calhoun County as well. You can see that around Barwick. We're going to continue to watch the scenario here as it does evolve. And I just tightened up once again here, folks. I mean, this stuff just doesn't want to give up, does it? So again, you can kind of see here we have these brighter color 75-mile-an-hour winds showing up on this. So it just tightened up again here in parts of Brooks County. We already had a tornado touchdown in southern Brooks earlier based on the debris signature. Let's hope we don't have another one here, but you never know in this situation. You just never know what can happen. As we're covering the situation for you live, obviously, we could end up having another tornado touchdown. So we're going between all the different radar modes here, going between all the modes, and we're actually getting that wind really so strong now, at least in the one direction here on our radar scope technology around Barwick. You see that wind, even if we don't have a tornado here, this wind really looks nasty. I mean, that's showing 92, 105. Wow. That's really impressive because we're not even that high up off the ground. So that's concerning here, folks. Hopefully they stay aloft somehow, but that definitely could be a concern. They're still calling this radar indicated for now. Let's see if we have a debris signature. I'm just checking to see if we have anything here that's co-located. There may be something there. Let's see. It seems like it really ramped up with that 1 or 2 scans that we've been using here. Let's see, the debris signature. I mean, it could actually be where we have the higher pixels, honestly. That could just be the debris being picked up here. It could be closer to this. Some of you go ahead and mark this out. Maybe closer to right there even. Could be right in there. Maybe we're getting contamination, but that actually lines up pretty good with something. So we might be having a debris signature trying to evolve out of this now. So again, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch trying to keep you up to date here, folks. Hopefully we don't have anything on the ground, but we may be getting another touchdown right as we get into Brooks County, ironically, here. It seems like they've been the focal point here of some of this action. That actually looks co-located to me. We're using a system here that we don't use as much. I'll go to the other one, but that looks co-located at this point. It's enough where I think we could have a tornado trying to touch down. I mean, that's matching up pretty good. We got lucky, it seems, in Thomas, from what I've heard so far, at least. I don't know for sure, but from what I've heard so far, but it looks like in Brooks County, it might actually have something that's trying to reach the surface now. Can't guarantee it 100%, but we have to continue to monitor this, obviously, continue to track it. Not really showing up as good on our other source. Maybe it was a signature that faded away after one scan. That's a possibility as well. They just canceled Thomas out now. The threat's over there, but I don't see as much there now, so that's good. Maybe something for a scan or two. Could have been something for a scan or two. It looks like it faded away, though. But could have had a brief touchdown there in that western part of Brooks County. I know. We're trying to continue to track this here. Give you the latest information. So maybe a brief touchdown and then a ramp back down again. Not 100% sure, I know. It looked like I had a little something there and it kind of faded away. But we're continuing to watch here. Our tornado warning right to the east. This one just off the board now. No longer worried about Thomas for this storm. There's still a threat that we still have that tornado watch in play here as we look off toward that area. So we still have some areas of rotation. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. You know, we have some tornado watches here in play that are worth watching and worth monitoring. So let me go ahead and go to this mode. Now, the watch goes further east, but we're just going to show it off here right now. You can see here as we have some storms still by themselves. That's not what you want to see when you have these instability values, these shear values around. That leads to trouble sometimes here. Both of the numbers are still up good enough to maybe get more. It's like a tropical environment that we're kind of dealing with at times. I mean, maybe a little more robust than that even, but you know, we still have tornado watch further east. It's just not shown on the map. But again, we have, okay, they're not saying there's a debris signature now, so let me see if it touches back down again, or if it's the same signature we're looking at, and maybe it's already lifted. Let me see what we got. I think that's down. Yeah, this is, it might have, okay, so we have this down right here east of Barwick. So I think what it was doing a moment ago, I think it was kind of maybe touching down for a moment, lifting back up, and now it's touching down a little more well-defined now, a little bit more so. So that is, yeah, that's definitely a confirmed tornado now. east of Barwick. So I think it touched down, be lifted back up, and now it's touching down with a little more level of concern there, with a little more strength even. So a confirmed tornado now. What the Weather Service is calling this. You see the box turn purple here. It's a confirmed tornado east of Barwick now. A very busy day in the Weather Center. You see this little mark here. Sometimes when you get artifacts or odd data points like this, that actually indicates debris. When you see that in the velocity, something like that little whiter pixel there. So that's a tornado on the ground here, folks, in Brooks County. You need to be in shelter. Tracking toward Morven here. Potentially could be having a new tornado warning for parts of Lowndes County. That really got deep there, folks. That really got deep. That could be a stronger tornado we're dealing with now. That could be a stronger tornado. Might have actually been down a moment ago, and it's just now seeing the debris there a little bit more visible. Even when it picked up, maybe it was still kind of down, and it was just kind of not able to be seen by the radar at that point. But because that's debris there. This is 3,900 feet. You can see the debris. That's over 5,500 feet now. So that's indicative of a maybe a stronger type tornado. Maybe winds in excess of 100 miles an hour. I think. Don't know for sure, but I think Thomasville and them got lucky in that area. They're not getting as lucky right now in Brooks County with this. Another tornado. 2 debris signatures in one night here in Brooks County, folks, in South Georgia. So it's been a busy night here just north of that border. I mean, we've seen stuff to the south of the border some mornings as well. But this is a confirmed tornado doing damage here. In fact, let me get to our other mode. We can get down to street level. It's right near Coffee Road, where this tornado is right now. Right near Coffee Road. Confirmed tornado right near Barwick Morven Road as well. In here, you kind of get the idea as we continue to track it here. Continue to look at the latest scans. I saw Coffee Road in here for a moment. It kind of went off my screen, but I see Barwick Road here. Beatty Road, County Road 50, kind of get the idea, Hodges Road. So those are some of those areas that are being impacted here right now. I know as we're continuing to track the coverage. But again, a tornado on the ground here in Brooks County. We'll see a new warning issued for parts of Lowndes County later downstream. But again, this tornado that was in Thomas County, the warned storm at least, may have not been producing a tornado in Thomas County. But now in Brooks County, it is producing a tornado. Another tornado in Brooks County here tonight. We had one in southern Brooks there toward the south as it was getting closer to Lowndes. And now another tornado warning. And Weather Service will have a decision to make here if this holds together. And it seems like the radiation's weakened a little in the most recent scans. But if it holds together, that's still strong wind energy. But we would have a new tornado warning maybe downstream. But it looks a little broader right now. Hopefully it pulsed up and now it's going to pulse back down, and hopefully we go ahead and kind of ramp this down somehow. But right now we do have a tornado warning for Brooks County until 9:45. A confirmed tornado, 10 miles northwest equipment. It's been confirmed with the dual polarization of the Doppler radar with that debris signature there to the northeast of Barwick now in Brooks County. Now, if you're wondering where Brooks County is, we've been talking about them a lot tonight. A lot of people around maybe in North Florida wouldn't even know where that is. That's a pretty rural area overall, but it is an area we cover, one of our 62 counties here. So let me tell you where that is as we get a significant weather advisory for Darty, Lee, and Terrell to Thunderstorm, Thunderstorm in that vicinity. But here's the map. So for perspective, like we're broadcasting from Bradford County here in north central Florida, but we cover 62 counties here. We cover all the way out toward Liberty, Franklin, way up toward northwestern Quitman County. Even there, you see Flagler County. But then where we're tracking things. So right now, you see areas around Lowndes County, but then here's Brooks County here. That's where Brooks County is in comparison to where places like Bradford County are, where Alachua County is. Alachua County's Gainesville, of course. Duval County, of course, that is over, and I try to point that out, Jacksonville. And then out here toward the west, Leon County is Tallahassee. Lowndes County, though, this is just west of right now. That is Valdosta. So this is west of Valdosta right now for perspective where we are talking. If you're just wondering where we're talking right now, we're talking about west of Valdosta. So that's just kind of the breakdown geographically right now. You got a confirmed tornado, another confirmed tornado tonight in Brooks County. We're really unfortunately seeing that situation be pretty nasty, but I think it's starting to maybe weaken off a little bit because it had that well-defined structure. It looks like it's kind of maybe getting impeded a little, hopefully. I think it's starting to get impeded a little bit, hopefully. And hopefully this does not impact areas around Hahira with as much force here in the next little bit. Hopefully it will break up before it gets to even Barney and Morven here in Brooks County. But we'll definitely be wondering about the reports here of damage. Let's see something real quick because I want to see if it actually, what it hit. Maybe let me zoom in here. Give me just a moment. We've been on a long time, folks, so that's why I'm leaning over a little bit. But this tornado was down there near, looks like Coffee Road. Okay, that's what we were tracking it earlier. And as we kind of look on in here, we're trying to figure out exactly the topography. It's hard to tell if there's homes out here or not, but definitely I could have went over something there. So we'll be following the reports here as we look ahead. I know continuing the coverage here for sure. Continuing the coverage of this. But right now it looks like the tornado may have lifted, but still tornado safe spot immediately there toward parts of Brooks County in South Georgia. We still could have something trying to touch down, but hopefully if this trend continues gate to gate, the positive and negative values, they drop off. That would indicate a weakening trend, and hopefully we can ramp this down. But we still have the threat even in tomorrow morning closer to north central Florida, believe it or not. So as you look here toward Mitchell County, you see a little bit of weak rotation southwest of Camilla. Another storm kind of by itself, but it's getting impeded a little on the back side. Hopefully that'll help it out and that it does not end up becoming as nasty with being a tornado-producing storm. But you see up toward Morgan there in Calhoun County now. You don't see that much rotation up there. You see our significant weather advisor toward Leesburg, up to 50-mile-an-hour winds possible up there toward Dotson and Leesburg in that vicinity. But you see here toward parts of Brooks County right now. Again, Brooks County, where we have the tornado warning, it seems as if this is weakening, but until the official tornado warning goes away, we cannot wrap up the coverage. We're obligated to stay on the air here with you to keep you safe, at least keep the stream going, whether we take a break here or there. But let me give you a broad perspective. We actually have a line of storms moving closer towards Savannah over the next little bit. It's moving east at 55 miles an hour. So let me go ahead and see you guys this right now. Let me show you guys. Let's go to a third computer, or fourth computer, I guess you could call it, or fourth source, but you get the idea. Statesboro, there we've had some wind damage reported. It looks like toward Metter in Candler County, a tree blown down along South Kennedy Street. And then as we look down to the south, unfortunately, guess who's in this warning here is Pembroke. They're right on the edge of this warning for some stronger winds. We just had a tornado go through that with at least F3 in intensity yesterday. And then we have some stronger winds moving on in to this vicinity, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts there, a possibility. So definitely not what you want to hear, the heavy rain, the lightning there, after already having a significant tornado move through there yesterday. And we just got a warning to go away, so maybe that's a good sign. Maybe they're not seeing as much wind potential in there because they just dropped this. We're not paying attention as much to those warnings, but that just at 9:30 went away, but still at least strong winds on the order of something like 40 to 50 miles an hour. Those lightning strikes, that heavy rain could still be moving in toward that area. But the only game in town right now in terms of a warning in our area is this tornado warning for parts of Brooks County here. North of Quitman, we're looking north and west of Adasta, west of Hahira, or west-southwest of Hahira. We're talking about north-north or east-northeast here of Thomasville. So that's where we're kind of looking right now. The rotation on our current rotation tracker showing a lot broader in nature than it was a moment ago. You see how it's tracking around Thomasville. We're lucky if it didn't drop a tornado around Thomasville, but it ended up dropping a tornado out in here where we had this red area around Barwick there. This area around Barwick is where we had the tornado touchdown, maybe just to the east. There's somewhere in that vicinity, though, in toward that area. So, again, you see some storms. We have to watch all these storms when they're by themselves, and we have to watch to make sure nothing becomes more organized like a line did up there. We have other storms. You see this line here off toward the north and the west. Hopefully we can get this action to clear on out here eventually of our area here as we look ahead. That's going to happen tomorrow, but it's going to take some time, even tomorrow, toward our north central Florida zone. So, you know, we haven't really gotten into much around Stark, a couple of tenths of an inch today, but I mean, we could end up getting into more robust action as we look ahead in toward the timeline. So, And hopefully not as bad as up to the north with a lower tornado threat, but still could have some wind, could still have things on that in that type of range, maybe some lightning strikes, but not hopefully, can't rule it out. There's still a threat, but hopefully the threats won't be as significant toward North Central Florida. But we'll be here to get you through it all as the warnings do come down, or if they don't come down, hopefully we won't have to come on the air really that much, if any. But if there's warnings, we'll let you know about them, depending on the levels of them. And then if we need to be on the air, we will. Significant weather advisories could be in play for certain areas. Don't really do much for those generally. Sometimes if there's around stork, we'll go ahead and post about it on Facebook on different accounts, facebook.com/KCCloudWX, facebook.com/cloudsweather. But I think you can go to all the different links for our severe weather coverage from Clouds Weather, the homepage there. Now they're still calling it a confirmed tornado, which is interesting to me. Let me see what we're looking at. We're off the Tallahassee radar right now. Let me see. Let me switch radar because we're getting closer to the Moody. That's interesting. Let's see what we're dealing with here. That's really broad. There could still be remnant debris showing up off of this radar here because of different heights, and that might be the better height here when we're going between them here. But at this point, again, because Thomasville is better generally on Tallahassee, but as you get further east, Moody's better. That's why we're tracking another storm down there on that. So it looks like we have really good radar coverage up here, unlike certain areas of our viewing circle. So we can kind of jump between radars and see things, even if they just touch down for a moment. That really helps us out. But let's go ahead and go to storm relative velocity right now. See, I mean, this is really, really broad, folks. I mean, that's there could still be remnant debris. I guess there could still be a funnel touching the ground in here, but they're still calling this a confirmed tornado. But I suspect it's not on the ground at this point. As we just got new information in. You see how, well, you can kind of see it on the edge of the screen. I'll back this up so once it comes across again, I want to say the whole loop as it's moved across Thomas, but look how tight that was. Getting really lucky if nothing touched down around there, but ended up when it got tight again around Barwood, that's when it touched down according to correlation coefficient, but it's now really broadened out, broader than it's really been here in a while, because we're not even seeing the brighter colors in the opposing directions here at this point, so that's great. But they canceled the tornado watch for Calhoun, Clay, Quitman, and Randolph. Remember, a tornado watch means conditions are favorable for tornadic accident and close to the watch area. But a warning means you have a tornadic situation there. But then also getting more information in now. Getting more information into the watch being extended till midnight for areas closer to Albany, Ben Hill, Berrien, Brooks, Colquitt, Cook, Doherty, Grady, Irwin, Lanier, Lee. Some of those is kind of going across on the chat real quick because we're getting quite a few other reports in here, folks. Let's see what else we got. Okay, what else do we have here? We have 846 report of a house damage there on Stevens Street in Thomasville. So now, even if we didn't have a tornado touching down necessarily, we are now getting reports of house damage in Thomasville. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this real quick. So much is happening in the chat. I'm off camera right now, so let me go ahead and jump over here because it's going so quick. We're getting like 10 things at once here, folks. So I'm going to step over here real quick and see what they're telling me in the chat session. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down just a little bit here. You're just getting so many things in here all at once. So let's see, what do we have here? We have a report of a house being damaged there on Stevens Street in the Thomasville area from a little while ago. And then we also got reports there. Another report in from that area over the last little bit here in the Tallahassee chat room. I know there's so much coming across the wire here, so just trying to make sure we give you guys all the right information. More house damage being reported here as we got toward, it looks like the intersection of Highway 33 and Magic Road, 2 miles southwest of Barwood. That's from around 912. The damage there near the intersection of Barwick Road, and then the damage there earlier on 846 was on Stevens Street toward Thomasville, back off toward the west here. Let me put it back on the normal radar mode there for you. And then we got a report earlier of some hail delayed report. Lee County there, that's from that afternoon accident is coming in. Sometimes it takes a little while for the reports to come on in here. So again, the debris signature had disappeared now, so that's good news. The debris signature, that's what we thought had happened. but the storm just seems to be weakening now in toward northern Brooks County, like we were alluding to here a moment ago. So that probably dropped this warning here, unless it really tightens back up on us. Hopefully we don't get a new warning as this is closer toward Interstate 75. We'll wrap up the coverage for now. And we did just get a news of a thunderstorm warning for parts of Appleton and Jeff Davis counties here, and that goes until let's see, that's out of our area, but you see Hazelhurst. Severe thunderstorm warning up there. That goes until 10 o'clock. They'll be watching that further up. Hopefully we don't get some warnings on these storms further down, because those are on the northern fringes of the viewing area here. So we're going to go ahead and watch some areas down here into toward Georgia, but right now nothing really robust. And they're now telling us here in the chat the tornado warning storm will be moving in toward Lowndes County around 9:50, and they'll be deciding in the next 5 minutes whether to extend the tornado warning downstream into Lowndes County or not. Hopefully they go with not extending this if the trends do continue the way they're continuing right now with that weakening trend. So busy night here, busy last couple of days. Still a threat tomorrow morning, believe it or not. Generally don't have 3-day events around here. Very rare. More like when you have 3-day events, it's more when you're dealing with something tropical, or just not generally don't have 3 days of a severe weather threat in the general region. But this is a unique setup here. We've seen some unique storms for sure, with them being discrete in nature around here. You generally don't see that in this part of the country that often, so that's something you have to always bear in mind. You see here the lightning's throwing up the heavier rain north of Morven there in parts of Brooks County. You see these other areas. We still have some lightning down south of Valdosta that can still do damage. Lightning is still dangerous. Remember, when you're hearing that thunder, that means they're likely to be struck by lightning here. So got to take that seriously, obviously. You see some significant weather advisories. You see that one up toward Hazelhurst out of our area. Some of this stuff looks more disorganized, which I hope stays the case. But with these energy values around, you never know. Hopefully it'll just suck the energy out of the atmosphere for many spots. But we just got to keep watching here. There's a little bit of red trying to show up in here. Hopefully this doesn't tighten back up on us. But we'll continue to watch it. Now, if you're kind of wondering what the forecast is, we have the threat still toward areas further east and south tomorrow. And then as we look ahead toward the weekend, though, it's going to be nice, folks. I think we deserve it after all this bad weather we've been going through here over the last while. We're going to get a nice weekend. A little cool, actually. Might need that jacket, but a relatively nice weekend for that FSU spring game here. They're going to be having that matchup on Saturday at 5 o'clock on the ACC network. So that'll be something to look forward to. The temperatures, they're not going to be, even for the highs, they won't be as warm as they are right now. I mean, these are crazy temperatures. I mean, it is almost 10 o'clock at night, 9:39, but 77 degrees outside right now, east of Star. This is just an incredible air mass that you would expect more in the summertime. Even then, I mean, this is on the warmer side, but it's muggy. And that's kind of an issue here. I know it's muggy in the studio because we've had all the lights on for hours. But again, nasty parameters here that we've been dealing with. Let's go ahead and save, guys, our energy values. These are still pretty high, and then your tornado parameters are there as well. So an interesting air mass. Let's look at the satellite. We haven't really shown this too much. You see how from this axis here, a little more up toward the north, but you have the clearing down toward the south here, and then let's take a look now. We'll go over toward the water vapor imagery. You see some dry air in there, and then you see the visible satellite imagery is not going to be visible now because it's dark. Not dark in the studio because we have all the lights on, but it's dark outside. I promise you. As we've been on for a long time now. As we're at 9:40 now on the clock, and hopefully this tornado warning will be wrapping on up. I mean, with the lightning strikes, it actually could make things a little bit brighter out there. But we've been on this stream for about an hour, but we were on earlier with coverage for that Brooks County south to the south. We were on for a while with that. We were on all afternoon with updates. We had this Cordell tornado situation. We had a tornado warning starting things off in Lee County earlier on there, north of Albany, north of Leesburg, really. But as we look at some of our outlooks, you see our tornado risk still there and toward the overnight. We got our new outlook out here in the last little bit. The tornado threat 2 to 5% across the region. Really, it's still a threat. Make sure you have multiple ways to get alerts overnight because it's an unpredictable atmosphere. So just continue to stay weather aware here as we track things. And you see this hail threat here in play. We still have that 15% hail risk and then the wind risk here. 30% to the north, 15% to the south here. Looks like there's your risk areas, your slight, your enhanced. Still a threat here. Later on, don't let your guard down because we've had a history of tornadoes, especially in Brooks County, a tornado there moving from Lee towards Sumter, and Crisp County earlier on as well. They're now telling us that there's no need to extend a tornado warning downstream in the Lowndes. The low-level circulation has mostly broken up, so that's good news. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here once that box goes away at 9:45. So as we go ahead and look here right now toward between Dawson and Leesburg, you don't see a lot there in terms of rotation. A little bit of rotation around Camilla. We'll keep our eyes on it. Hopefully that storm doesn't get in a prime environment. You see the rotation is pretty weak now in this tornado warning storm, and that's why they're letting the warning go here in parts of this area, not seeing that tornado threat hold together toward a high risk. So hopefully we'll get lucky. We won't get any more warnings tonight. But we'll be here, obviously, if we get some more. We definitely have that chance, and we definitely have to stay on guard for that potential as we look ahead in toward the timeline. So there to look right now at another vantage point of the Doppler. This is now a significant weather advisory situation downstream. They've just expired a tornado warning for Brooks. Real quick, we'll go ahead and see the power outage numbers here. I'll pop that up, see if we have anything interesting in Brooks County, because I know it's a rural area, though, so hopefully hopefully we don't have power outages, but they hopefully aren't necessarily prominent either. I know we have quite a few outages, though, in the door. Let's pop this up here. Just loading on the board. You see that strip in central Georgia. That seems to have been where we really had some of the worst weather maximized, but we've had some tornado touchdowns, at least 2, down to the south here, but no customers noted out in Brooks, but not all the customers are going to be tracked out there in that rural county. But you see out towards central Georgia here, Emmanuel County, 4,000 in the dark. Had some nasty weather around Swainsboro, some of those general vicinities there. Johnson County about 1,000. You see 380 Lawrence County there. It looks like Bleckley County, most of the customers in the dark. Macon County, Chattahoochee County there, even Marion County. So a little strip there pretty impacted. And then as we get further on up, Wilkes County, about 369 customers in the dark. I know FSC baseball did get started, by the way, a little reference point there. Kind of interesting to see that. I see a bunch of outages look like they're in Puerto Rico right now. Interesting to see that showing up there. But as you see here toward Florida on this mapping, you don't see too many customers in the dark. McCullough, none. Leon, none that are tracked. Jefferson, Madison, Swanee, not too much right now. But still a threat here tomorrow morning. We'll be here to watch it, obviously, as we go between all these numbers. Maybe some toward Palm Beach. We actually had some issues down there earlier. Interesting to see something maybe dropping out of the clouds down in that vicinity. Down there in southeast Florida. But again, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up right now. No tornado warning on the board any longer. Crazy couple of days. The threat's not over, though. Even though we want it to be over, it's not over yet. Let me check velocity again, because I am seeing on the Tallahassee Radar looks a little bit more interesting now. At least I just check Moody, because that'd be the closer shot by far now. So we don't have anything ramping up on us and then have to jump right back on. That would kind of defeat the purpose here a little bit of some of our coverage. If we can go ahead and give you that heads up now, something's starting to pin or something trying to ramp back up, we can kind of pinpoint where that is to protect you, your friends, and your family. It looks a little bit more interesting from higher up in the atmosphere, but just want to check that real quick on the Moody. It was looking really weak on that earlier. It's actually looking a little bit better, but it's not looking really strong. Nothing that's still an imminent tornado, but we'll continue to watch it around Yates Road there in parts of Brooks County, around Barney there. We'll watch to see if anything ramps up as it gets closer toward Iowa, Cecil, that general vicinity, even as you kind of see it moving more off to the east in that latest scan. It's pretty weak in nature right now. Nothing for a tornado warning or thunderstorm warning to be issued, but really broad, weak circulation. If something ramps up, we'll let you know. But this environment here, it seems it wouldn't be quite as favorable with some of this action to the south. That warning toward Appleton and Jeff Davis, not in our area, but they canceled that off as well. The Jacksonville office did. So we'll keep you advised. Let's go ahead and see the overview, and then we'll get out of here with this coverage for now. Still some tornado watches in play till midnight or so toward Albany, toward Waycraft, still around 11 o'clock or so. So we'll be watching everything. We'll be tracking everything the last 12 hours. In terms of that rainfall there, you see a lot of that right near the Florida-Georgia border. Having some issues, some towards Lee County there, and northern Leah, quite a bit of rain as well. It's been a busy day. Still have that threat here later on lingering. So make sure you have multiple ways to get alerts. We'll be here as needed to keep you, your friends, and your family safe. There's your tornado risk as it continues here, and even toward us overnight and toward us morning hours as well. That threat will even get further down toward us day. Thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me.